The plane cabin buzzed softly with Christmas music, but Alexander Hayes sat stiffly in his first-class seat, staring at the dark window. Outside, snowstorms swirled like a shaken globe. Inside, his heart felt even colder. For the world, he was the unstoppable, untouchable CEO of a billion-dollar empire. But tonight, on Christmas Eve, he had no one waiting for him, no laughter, no warmth, not even a single gift to give or receive. As he sighed and loosened his tie, a tiny voice broke through the quiet. "Sir, can you help me with my seatbelt? It's stuck." Alexander turned. A little boy, maybe 6, curly hair, wide brown eyes, was standing beside him holding the belt like a confused kitten. The flight attendant smiled apologetically. "He insisted he wants to sit next to you. Said you looked lonely." Alexander blinked, startled. "Lonely?" The boy nodded eagerly. "Mom says lonely people need friends. And you look like you need one." The passengers nearby giggled, but Alexander swallowed hard. No one had spoken to him like that in years. He helped the boy with the seatbelt, and the child flashed a smile so bright it cut through the CEO's gloom like a Christmas star. "I'm Liam," the boy said proudly. "And this is my backpack. It has cookies. You can have one if you want." The CEO almost laughed, a real one, not the polite corporate mask. "That's very generous." "My mom says Christmas is for sharing," Liam replied, hugging the backpack tightly. "She says it makes hearts warm even when snow is cold." Alexander felt something shift inside him. A crack in the ice. The plane took off through roaring winds. Turbulence shook the cabin hard. Liam grabbed Alexander's hand without warning. "Are you scared?" Alexander asked gently. Liam shook his head. "No. But you look like you are." Alexander glanced out the window. "I'm not scared of flying. I'm just tired." "Mom says tired hearts need hugs," Liam whispered. "Do you need one?" Alexander froze. Slowly, he nodded. Without hesitation, the boy wrapped his small arms around him. Alexander's throat tightened. No board meeting, no award, no business success had ever made him feel this human. For the next hour, Liam talked nonstop, about school, about Christmas lights, about how he wanted to become a pilot someday. Something about him was magnetic, innocent, hopeful. Alexander found himself answering questions he never expected to. He told the boy about his childhood, about growing up alone, about losing his mother young, about a father who worked too much and hugged too little. Words flowed out like he had been waiting years for someone to listen. Liam listened carefully, eyes soft. "You must miss your mom," the boy said quietly. "I do," Alexander whispered, voice trembling. "Especially tonight." The little boy took his hand again. "It's okay. You can miss people and still be happy. That's what Christmas is for." Just then, he noticed the boy's bag was old and torn, his jacket thin, his shoes scratched. Something wasn't right. "Liam," he asked softly, "where is your mother?" Liam looked out the window. "She was supposed to sit with me. But she had to stay behind. They said there was only one seat left. She told me to go ahead and she would come on the next flight. But I'm scared she won't make it." A storm of worry filled Alexander. "Do you have somewhere to go? Someone waiting for you?" Liam shook his head. "We were moving to Grandma's. She's sick and lives far away. Mom said we need to take care of her. But we don't have much money." Alexander's heart twisted. A child traveling alone on Christmas Eve, unsure of where his mother was, carrying nothing but cookies and hope. A sudden announcement came over the speakers. "Due to severe weather, the airport ahead is temporarily closed. We will circle until further notice." Liam's eyes filled with tears. "If the airport is closed, Mom won't be able to come." Alexander put a hand on his shoulder. "I promise you, we'll find her. You are not alone." For the first time, he meant those words deeply. Hours later, the plane landed at a small diverted airport. Christmas lights flickered faintly through the storm. Passengers hurried off, but Alexander stayed with Liam, carrying his worn backpack. At the help desk, the staff tried but found no information about Liam's mother. The storm had delayed many flights. No one knew which one she was on. Liam trembled. What if she can't find me? She will, Alexander said firmly. Because I won't leave until she does. The boy clung to him, and Alexander realized this child had filled a hole he never knew was so wide. They waited for hours in the dim airport lounge. Alexander bought Liam warm food, a new jacket, even a little Christmas toy. He didn't care about money. He just wanted the boy to feel safe. Finally, near midnight, as the Christmas countdown shimmered on airport screens, a woman rushed through the entrance, frantic, breathless, eyes wild with fear. Liam. The boy jumped up. Mom. They ran into each other's arms, crying uncontrollably. Alexander stepped back, watching silently as the reunion unfolded. The mother looked up at him, tears streaming. I thought I lost him. Thank you. Thank you for protecting my son. I will never forget this. Alexander cleared his throat. He protected me too. Liam tugged his suit. Mom, this is my friend. He was lonely. His mother smiled softly. And you helped him. Just like I taught you. The boy turned to Alexander, holding out his small hand. Will you come visit us sometime? Grandma would like you. She likes lonely people too. The CEO knelt, overwhelmed. I would love that. Truly. Before leaving, the mother placed a small cookie from the boy's bag into Alexander's hand. Something to remember tonight by. Alexander held it like a treasure. As they walked away, Liam looked back and called out. Don't be lonely anymore. You have us now. Alexander felt tears he hadn't shed in years. And for the first time on Christmas Eve, he didn't feel empty. He felt found. He felt human. He felt home. Snow dusted the streets as Alexander Hayes stepped out of the airport that night. People were celebrating, hugging, singing, but he stood still, holding the single cookie Liam had given him. It felt like a tiny piece of magic in his palm. For hours after Liam and his mother left, his heart kept replaying the boy's words. Don't be lonely anymore. You have us now. Alexander had never been anyone's us. He had always been the outsider, the man behind glass walls, visible but unreachable. But tonight changed something. A child had seen through him, touched the softest part of him, and left a crack of light. As he sat in the back of his quiet car, his driver asked, Sir, home? Alexander looked out the frosted window and whispered, Home, yes. But for the first time in years, even he didn't know where home really was. He reached his penthouse after midnight. Warm lights glowed, but the place felt like a museum, silent, perfect, lifeless. His steps echoed as he walked in. He took off his coat, sat at the dining table, and placed the Christmas cookie in front of him like it was a priceless gift. He took a small bite. A simple homemade cookie. A little sweetness. A little warmth. Enough to make his chest ache. He whispered into the empty room, Merry Christmas, Mom. I wish I could tell you about him. For the first time in years, he didn't work through the night. He didn't open emails. He didn't call investors. He simply sat there, letting himself feel. The next morning, he woke up with a heaviness in his chest. An ache he couldn't ignore. Suddenly, meetings, deals, and deadlines seemed small. Liam's innocent smile, the boy's small hand in his, the fear in his mother's eyes, it all kept returning like waves. He opened his phone and stared at the contact he had saved. Liam's mom, Emily Carter. She had given him her number before leaving, saying, Call us if you ever feel alone again. He had smiled politely then. Now that invitation felt like a lifeline. He hesitated. A CEO didn't just call strangers on Christmas morning. But Liam wasn't a stranger anymore. He was the first real friend Alexander had made in years, even if he was only 6. Finally, with a deep breath, he pressed call. The phone rang once. Twice. 3 times. Then a soft, tired voice answered. Hello. Emily. It's Alexander Hayes. There was a warm surprise in her tone. Mr. Hayes. I didn't expect to hear from you so soon. Alexander rubbed his forehead. I just wanted to make sure you both got home safely. We did, she said, smiling in her voice. Liam hasn't stopped talking about you. He says you're his Christmas friend. His throat tightened. I'm honored. Would you like to talk to him? She asked. Yes, he replied a little too quickly. There was a shuffle, then Liam's excited voice burst through the speaker. Alexander. Are you still lonely? He almost laughed. A little. That's okay, the boy said confidently. We can fix that. Mom says lonely people just need the right people. Alexander swallowed. And do you think you're the right people? Of course. Liam said proudly. We're your friends now. Remember. Something inside Alexander finally melted. Liam, would you and your mom like to meet for lunch today? Maybe somewhere warm. Somewhere with lots of food. Liam gasped loudly. Mom. Can we? Please. Emily returned to the phone, slightly hesitant. You don't have to do that. I want to, Alexander said honestly. I owe you both more than you know. After a short pause, she said softly, all right. We'd love to. They picked a small cozy diner near their neighborhood. Not a luxury hotel. Not a 5-star restaurant. Alexander found himself relieved. He didn't want business today. He wanted connection. When he arrived, he saw Emily and Liam sitting at a corner table. Emily looked tired but kind, wrapped in a simple winter coat. Liam waved so hard that other customers turned to stare. Alexander. You came. The CEO smiled, a real one, as he walked toward them. Emily stood politely. Merry Christmas. He nodded. Merry Christmas. The three sat together, and for the first time since childhood, Alexander felt like he belonged at a table with people who cared about him, not his title. They talked about everything: school, work, Christmas traditions, Liam's dreams of becoming a pilot again. Emily listened with gentle eyes. Alexander found himself opening up in ways he never did with adults. At one point, Emily leaned in and said, "Thank you for staying with my son yesterday. He told me everything. You were his guardian angel up there." Alexander shook his head. "He saved me more than I saved him." She smiled softly. That's usually how children are. As they finished their meal, Liam reached across the table and took Alexander's hand. "Alexander, will you spend the rest of Christmas with us? Grandma is sick and sometimes sad. She might like you too." Emily looked embarrassed. "Liam, you can't just." Alexander squeezed the child's hand. "I'd love to." He didn't know why. He didn't know how. But he knew one thing. He didn't want this feeling to end. He wanted to follow them home. He wanted to meet their family. He wanted to feel alive again. So that afternoon, the powerful CEO sat in the back seat of a small, old car, squeezed between gifts and blankets, following a boy who had turned his entire world upside down. And as they drove through snowy roads toward a humble little house miles away, Alexander realized something he had never dared believe before. Maybe this Christmas wasn't the end of his loneliness. Maybe it was the beginning of his family.